We are all a little depraved and debaucherous. Here is the king of podcasts.
Of some of the dumb and stupid things that I hear out there that are on websites, or that I read on websites, or that I hear on social media, let's put it for that matter. You know, I've been coming across a number of trends that keep coming across here. You know, they either come through my For You page on X or TikTok or Instagram or, you know, on my Google News page. Rodent boyfriends. Yeah. The next new trend that's out there. And listen, I mean, of all the shows that I keep doing here, the constant stupid ideas that are out there by people on websites and other countries that are just ridiculous, that keep coming up. And I mean, I really just, I laugh at some of the bullshit I see here on a regular basis that just keep coming up. And I'm like, oh, what are you guys thinking about? So we talked about Boy Sober last week or 2 weeks ago. I brought up friendship marriages, which really took off and really said some things about things. The 4B movement. And then what else did I have here? The soft guy era we talked about. Oh boy, this is just like something else. And so all these things going on in just the last few months that I've talked about here on this program, The Page and Debaucherous, King of Podcasts here with you. So rodent boyfriends is due to the fact that there in Hollywood right now are a set of leading men on screen in movies and TV that they just have a certain look. It's like Gen Z growing up. And some of these 20-somethings right now that have been featured in movies lately and TV shows, they mention, who is there? There's Mike Faced, I guess it is, right? And Josh O'Connor, they were in the movie Challengers, which I've talked about here on the program here. The one movie with the tennis movie was Zendaya. Let's just make it easy for you. You're not going to remember the two guys, but you'll know Zendaya, okay? Or Zendaya, whatever. And then there are guys like Barry Keoghan, best known in the movie Saltburn. Timothée Chalamet, he's in Wonka. He's, you know, what's the guy's name in Dune? I forget his name now. What is it? You know, I got to go look it up because I can never tell you what the name of him in that movie is. I can never tell you. Oh, here we go. He is Paul Atreides. Jeez, you're going to ask me to remember that? Come on. I am going to watch the third Dune, by the way. But anyways, then you have Tom Holland and Jeremy Allen White. Tom Holland, of course, the Spider-Man fame. And Jeremy Allen White, best known for his role as Lip in Shameless, and now in the new show, The Bear. Well, it's been out for 3 years, but so far, 3 seasons. But yeah, The Bear. These are all guys that are called, you know, the kind of thing is sexy rat guys. And now it's become the internet's greatest compliment, according to a story from Hitched in the UK, hitched.co.uk. And they share a rodent-like quality, and it's kind of hot. So let's figure out what this is all about. And the Hitch website actually gives me a couple different ideas of what this is. So TikTok has a news account called Screenshot, and it got over 250,000 likes on a carousel post providing examples of Hollywood's top 6 hot rodent boyfriends. I'm bringing this up because now there's this thought that women in real life, of course, are going to mimic what they see online. Well, they're going to say to themselves, well, if this is what's happening in Hollywood, you know, do I need to go buy some, you know, new mugs? What are those? What were those boots that they always had? The fur boots. What are those called? There was a Kardashian wore. Come on, count me out here, guys. You know what it is. You know what I'm talking about, right? Uggs. There we go. Uggs. Back in the day. Or if it's something from Shein or something from Fashion Nova, you got to get something from there, right? Or you got to go get something from, you know, wherever. Like, this is the idea. Oh, you know, this style is in. This style is in. Oh, low-rise skinny jeans are back in. Or, you know, the sundresses are back in. Or, you know, whatever. It's like there's all these different things that are brought up as new trends and items that single women are going to supposedly go and look at. So they go in and again, they talked about that last year. There was a new process of golden retriever boyfriends. And one of the biggest ones was Travis Kelce, the star tight end, Super Bowl tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, who's been like, following along with Taylor Swift, superstar, darling, pop starlet out there on her Eras tour. And Travis Kelce goes out and now performs. He performed at a show in England last month, I would say now, with her on stage. It's like, okay. So golden retriever boyfriends, that was another trend that's come out there. And a partner, it doesn't have to be a boyfriend necessarily, but that is enthusiastically affectionate and supportive. Same energy as golden retriever dogs. Have a very friendly and gentle nature, giving the golden retriever boyfriend its meaning. So the first one is Travis Kelce's burgeoning relationship with Travis Kelce. That's one example. They also want to say that Tom Holland fits in the role because of his relationship to Zendaya. And there are others that they talk about as well, black hat girlfriends and golden retriever boyfriends. Like, this shit is just ridiculous, okay? The other golden retriever boyfriends they're talking about is Ryan Gosling, who's married to Eva Mendes. And then they have other type boyfriends, and they use, this is ridiculous. Doberman boyfriends, Rottweiler boyfriends. So you want to, this site is trying to define men like dogs. Now, we already know that women like to go and use that type of stigma on guys, that men are dogs or men are pigs. So now we're dogs. We're either German Shepherd, Rottweiler, Doberman, or Golden Retriever. Or we're now a rat. Yeah. I like to know who thought, this was somebody in New York that sees the big fat rats out there on the streets. Like I remember seeing last year. I mean, they're monster rats. Like some of these are like, they look like they're 20 pounds big. Like it's just ridiculous. So this is the thought that they want to use the idea of rodents because of the guy having like, like the small mustache, kind of like, looking like a rat, honestly, like just in the face. That's what they're trying to go and get at. And so one of the most popular ones right now, they're going to say is Barry Keoghan because he's dating the now pop star of the hour, the one that's probably set to go ahead and dethrone Miss Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, who is now having a monster year in the music charts with songs like Espresso, Please, 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 and Feather. Yes, I know the songs. I like them. Okay, I like her. She's good. She's got some sass to her. So I get that part, and that's, that's cool. So now we have this idea of unconventionally hot guys to thirst over. But let's keep this in mind. Women are not being told to go after tall, dark, and handsome. Now they want tall, pale, and ugly because that's what they're saying here. And guys, do not take this as a compliment. If you are being told that you're a rodent boyfriend, you're a hot rodent boyfriend, don't take that. Okay? Because then you realize that the woman is there for you, not because of your looks. Don't give me about, personality, and I can look at a guy without the looks. No, you have to be attracted to him. You have to be attracted to him. So you think you're going to go ahead and come in here and just say, okay, there's a good chance that, a girl is going to be into you and you can live with the fact that she doesn't find you attractive. Like, where's the sex part coming in? Or are the women not really caring about the sexual part or the romantic part about, being romantic or intimate or affectionate with this guy? When more, it's about like, well, he's the end thing now. That's what makes him hot, but not physically or attractive hot, right? It's nothing like that. And that's what they're trying to say here. This is a backhanded compliment. A backhanded compliment. Like, I remember Tom Likas, we're going to refer to this backhanded compliment, and I actually used this a couple of times. Well, I don't know if you hear this too much, but I think you're pretty. I think you're beautiful. It's like, I'm trying to, separate you from every other girl out there. And I remember one girl catching me on to that. And actually, we got along pretty well. But then, what happened was, we got into the bedroom, and things didn't click. I'll tell this story real quick. because I used that. And the truth was, I had nothing to go and say where I was thinking that she was ugly at all. Nothing. Not even close. But what happened was that I met her. She was working at a store as a cashier. And I would keep running her into the store. And I finally just got myself the courage and said, like, let me go and get your number. And I was talking to her every time I went up to the counter. So I had a little bit of rapport with her. She already knew who I was, more or less. And then I asked for a number. We got together, and I remember the first thing we did, we took a night walk on the beach. Nothing else. We didn't go out to dinner or anything like that. It was just like, let's just go out. Let's just meet up. I think it was that time when I was still do the whole thing where I would go and bring some libations with me, lay down a towel, find some wine, something like that. That was like a thing 30 years ago. They used to work, but not anymore now these days. But I remember we got together and did that. And I remember I kissed her, and then I remember we were starting making out, and then things just got, we were getting into it. It got hot and heavy, and it was fun. And then she stopped me. I was like, okay. And it was an appropriate stop because I was like, okay, I understand. And then we got together again. And it was like, we did just, I remember I did something where I remember going to a hotel with her. We just decided to go and hook up at a hotel. It was like, oh, it's just going to be like that. Because her schedule was like really rough because of the time she had to work. So I remember meeting her, and this was like later in the night, like around 11 o'clock. And I meet with her. And again, I was going to set something up. Like, you want me to make anything for dinner? You want me to bring any food or anything like that? It's just like, because she just wanted to go somewhere and relax. And it wasn't going to be my place or her place. So I was like, okay, I'll get a hotel. So we go. And all I remember was that I was getting together and making out with her and all. And then I remember she decided to go in and go to the shower. And for whatever reason, she decided to go get a shower first. And like, she was just dressed in jeans and a shirt. And I was like, oh, she looks good. Let me just take all that off and let's just go to business. For whatever reason, I realized then that she brought a one piece. And she didn't want to take it off right away. So I was like, I really couldn't do anything where I wanted to get her naked and like, fool around. But she had this on. And then I started noticing tattoos on her. I was like, oh man. I was like, a couple of things that just kind of I don't know. It was like, I was distracted by that. Like the one piece, I didn't need any of that. Like you don't even need to give me that. Like just because I felt like when she wore the one piece, it was insecurity about her because she was a little bit chubbier. And I was like, she's not. Like I liked the way she looked. Like for me, she was, that's the kind of girl's my type. And, when I seen her before, like she's working like with a polo and a pair of jeans, working in a store as a cashier. There's nothing like I'm seeing her trying to like, cover herself up. It was just like, casual. But she started to wear this one piece, like some lingerie thing. And I'm like, I'm not into lingerie at all. Just not. Just don't even bother putting it on. Just for my own sake. I don't need that. I don't need to make up so much. I'm very simple. And then I remember that then we got together and then we started doing things and I was like, I don't know. There was something that flustered her, I guess, because when we tried to go ahead and, get to it, it didn't necessarily work. And I felt bad because I was like, I don't know what happened, but there was something with her that just did not check right. And it's too bad. Because like I said, I liked her. She was nice. But because the awkwardness of what happened there, she never hit me up again and I didn't see her again. I didn't even see her in the store I went to go see her at. She was gone. It's just one of those random things. Whatever happens. Okay. Back to rodent boyfriends. I know I went off on that tangent, but like I said, I want to be one of those people that will share on the air here because, I don't need to just be going out and just rambling on stories on a regular basis. I think you guys want to hear what about me because I'm willing to offer up myself, as testimony towards some of the things that are going on there with guys and gals. So like my point of that, getting back to the point is that when guys are getting the same kind of thing that I would give that girl, I gave her the backhanded compliment because that being called the rodent boyfriend is a backhanded compliment. Just saying it is. So I'm going to take another story from The Guardian and they talk about that. They talk about that. Okay. I also know a lot of useless things that take up prime real estate within my ever shrinking brain, and I'm always up to date and aware of the real things like society's current hot people. And sometimes a few of those people seem to appear at the same time who are similar in some certain way, and people notice. So the same names I mentioned. She says that rodent boyfriend is a compliment and something people find very appealing. It seems like at least once a year we're introduced to a new kind of guy we want to now appreciate. But that's the other problem. It's just the in thing for like a second and then it goes away. That's the other part. So she talks about now that in the last few years we've had dad bods, short kings, zaddies or older men, big dick energy, himbos, nerds, golden retriever boyfriends, and now rats. This is all within the last 10 years or so of women that are single and they're just out there believing anything that they're supposed to like be in with the in thing. And if they don't find it, they're just not in with anything. Because there's something to be said about guys getting caught up in the thought that, oh, well, what if I have a dad bod? I have a chance. If I'm a rodent boyfriend material, I got a chance. Women are making you get this in your head that you have an opportunity to be with them. When let's be honest with each other, okay, if those guys we just mentioned there, for the most part, if we saw them without the money and the fame and the spotlight they have on them, okay, they would just be regular schmucks on the street. If they were working class schlubs, no one would pay attention to them. If you saw them at a bar and you didn't know who they were, okay, you didn't know them from Adam and Eve, you would not care who they are at all. And by the way, they, back in the day, they probably would find somebody that would be average looking to be with them average looking. But see, remember, being average and going out with average is out of bounds. That's not allowed in 2024. No, women are being programmed to think they only need to go for tall, rich, and whatever else they want to think. But tall and rich is very important to them. And also, well endowed. Like those things are important. So they can kind of escape the part of everything else. Like think about it like this. Okay, we now have the new trend of I'm looking for a man in finance, 6'5", trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes, right? I'm looking for a man in finance, trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes, right? That's the deal. There's nothing about the good looking part. I mean, the part of the guy's probably dressed in a suit and he probably has nice accessories, probably, presents himself well because he wants to present himself as successful and driven and determined, right? There's that part. Okay. You would think then there's going to be some good looking guys out of that, but even the not good looking guys that are in the same realm, if they have the money, if they have the wherewithal, women are being told then it's acceptable just to take a guy as long as he's rich and tall and well endowed. 6-figure income, 6 foot taller, and more than 6 inches down there on the rod. And that's it. This is what's being considered acceptable now. Guys, to have any kind of preference or any kind of type is looked down upon. It's ostracized. It's bashed. It's canceled. That's where we are right now. So God forbid we say anything about the girl from Bridgerton that we talked about last week, Nicola Coughlan, and we say anything about that. Oh, we can't say anything bad about her. Okay, but that's what's going on right now. There are never stories, and this is what the Guardian writer here says as well. She asks the question, and good for her. This is from Rebecca Shaw. She even asks the question, where are the new kind of gals? I just wish there was some kind of these trends that happen for women as well. Society is already way more open for the different kinds of hot that white men can be. Yet this sort of thinking almost never goes in the other direction. There are never stories that tell us men are going for sexy teapot women. Or how about another movie that casts another anxious spider girlfriend as the lead? Definitions of attractiveness for women remain inflexible except to sometimes swing from big butts are in, all the way to big boobs are in. As long as you are also thin, always on trend, and conventionally beautiful. Women outside these rigid norms are largely excluded, and if they do happen to break through, it's only ever as an individual. She refers to Nicola Coughlan as slightly fat. Okay. She's not slightly fat. She's pretty, but she is a bigger girl. Okay. Let's just make that point. And, obviously in the period costumes that she's wearing right now, not period in that sense, but the Elizabethan, whatever the, centuries old period that she's in right now. And she even talks about in the point of this story, Rebecca Shaw, that Nicola Coughlan is a little bit fat and a lot hot. Like her, I dream of the day when we're not talking about this. Okay. So, what are we going to talk about now? In terms of the women that are the ire right now that we're looking at in Hollywood on the other side of the coin. Well, if you have to go and say it, remember, Hollywood determines who's going to be the it people out there anyway. Right now, Sydney Sweeney is definitely up in there. Zendaya is definitely up in there. I would say you can see Sabrina Carpenter's in on that spot right now. Chappell Roan's starting to become a part of a star that's out there. Taylor Swift always been the mainstay. I think for movies and TV shows, Ayo Edebiri from The Bear, they're trying to make a big deal about her. And, no, guys don't have that kind of thing. We don't think that literally. We don't think that literally like that. And the truth is, we don't give a shit about the beauty standards that are put out there. There's certain things about beauty standards that do make a sense. By the way, you want to talk about certain guys right now, if you talk about women that are beautiful, you can start looking at the WNBA women that are out there. The ones that we're starting to see now getting much more attention. There's Angel Reese and Cameron Brink and Kelsey Plum and Lexi Hull, and I don't know how to say her name, but I'm going to say the girl that's dating Jaylen Brown from the Celtics. Kaiser Gunzidrik. I'm going to say that's what her name was. Among others, there's, a lot of good looking women right now out there in basketball. And there's that part. And I'll tell you, we're going to probably see some of that with the Olympians going to be coming up pretty soon to see who's going to be out there as well that we're going to be paying attention to when it comes to a Simone Biles or who else is out there. It's all of this that you have to consider. So you take it as you want. Women can have these thoughts of what they're being told they should have. And for them to go ahead and believe that this is a good idea, that's on them. It's stupid. But I wish women didn't have to think this way, but they are. And, we're starting to see this a whole lot more. And they talk about in that TikTok feed, or there was also a viral X post is also talking about this as well, that men were being likened to different animals. And the post reading that men are either eagle handsome, bear handsome, dog handsome, or reptilian handsome. And when they referred to some of the stars out there and which animal they represent, Ryan Gosling is an eagle, Henry Cavill is a bear, Heath Ledger is a dog or golden retriever specifically, and Timothée Chalamet is a reptile. Okay. Women that are getting caught up in this right here, I know this is just for fun. I know we're just making fun of this. We're just talking shit. I got that part. But women actually start believing in this shit. Do you understand this? There will be women that will hear this kind of thing and think this is cool, and they'll actually try to apply this bullshit in their dating. Do you understand that? There are going to be women that are going to apply this bullshit right here. Rodent boyfriends. They're going to start looking for, I guarantee you're going to see dating app profiles that will say, I'm looking for a rodent boyfriend. And what is a guy supposed to say when they see that? Do you take it as okay, I'll take the opportunity. I don't give a shit what she calls me as long as we're going out, as long as I get delayed. I mean, the guys in Hollywood they don't care. And let's be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if most of those guys we're referring to right now also swing the other way, and they're bisexual. So it doesn't make a difference if they're really interested in the women or not, because it also could just be plants. Like, how many guys are really virile, red-blooded, like, guys? How many of those are guys? I'm trying to think, like, who is there out there now that really makes me feel like they're like that? Of the new cast of stars. To me, I feel like, well, maybe Glenn Powell? Maybe? I don't know who else. I mean, the guy that plays Reacher? Maybe? I mean, that's another guy, I guess. But I'm going to say Henry Cavill probably hits that part. Aaron Taylor Johnson, I probably think he hits that part. Like any guy that looks like he could be in a Bond movie or the actual James Bond character, you know, that still represents actual men. And I think that's what guys honestly really do look at. You know, if we have a type that's particular that like everybody will look at, I think it's pretty safe to say the Bond girl is a great example. So guys don't need rodent boyfriends. Okay, guys don't need any type of girlfriends like this. Like, we like particular stereotypes, sure. We like the cheerleader type. We like the book nerd type. We like what I think would be a great type, the Bond girl. I think the James Bond girl absolutely hits that part. And by the way, because of the Bond movies, we have seen various types of women, of various shades of complexion. Maybe not so much in changes shapes, but for the most part, you know, the women that are Bond girls, usually not overly thin. They're usually buxom, very voluptuous, in a very standard way. And I really think it's that. And that works for me. That, you know, if you want me to tell me, if you had to ask me like what the type of girl would be, that would be like optimal in terms of looks, beauty, grace, all of that, more than likely, you give me a Bond girl. That's nothing against the type I'm normally going after. But like, if you want to give me like the out of my league best of the best, a Bond girl. A Bond girl. Guys, do you agree with me or not? Now, back to the rodent boyfriend trend. Okay. The biggest example they keep showing is Sabrina Carpenter's boyfriend and Barry Keoghan. And he has sharp, pointy features and unconventional attractiveness that simply cannot be explained. Because also you got to think about in the movie Saltburn, like he's like a certain character that's very awkward and aloof, and then turns into this like, you know, sex deranged maniac serial killer for that matter, and goes into that. And another story from Pop Sugar, they talk about this. Taylor Andrews wrote this, and let me go ahead and take what she says about this. Now, quote, I love a good viral dating term here and there, but the rodent boyfriend trend is simply something I can't get behind. The main reason is because the term insinuates that if your type doesn't fall under traditional or normal beauty standards, you just have to use a label like rodent boyfriend to qualify that attraction or justify why you like someone. Ah, she makes sense here. Not only does the term rodent boyfriend reduce unconventionally attractive people to a silly comparison to an animal, it also ignores what really matters in a relationship. Things like trust, communication, loyalty, shared values, etc. And not to be super earnest, but also just really means to compare someone to a pest. Wow. She's absolutely right. She says, I think it's okay to own the fact you either care more about the personality than looks, or that your type may just be different from somebody else's. But at the end of the day, who you find attractive doesn't need to be justified or validated by a social media trend, and you can like who you like without having to categorize accordingly and explain why you do. See, the thing is, too, is that on social media, there's a lot of this, of women that will go on as thirst traps, or just any woman out there in general. On Instagram or Threads, and they might be giving you a pipeline to go into their OnlyFans or into their other pages they might trying to get content from, and they're simping you. They're trying to get you as a simp to go ahead and follow along. Get caught in the trap. Go right in there. Because women will make you, some of these women that will come out there, they'll say, do you like a woman that's 40-something, years old with a body that's not perfect? Would you like how I look here in a bikini? Or this other woman, look, I can pull up my Instagram Threads. This is the worst place it is. Like, it's infested. I get all these recommended women that are on here on Threads. The Instagram answer to Twitter or X. And I'll look on here, and all I get here are like different women that they're looking for likes, they're looking for clicks. And here's one. Okay. I get one from, there's a For You page, right? Allie's Penthouse. Can average looking moms get likes too? She's, big chested, and she's, throwing on some like sweatpants, whatever. Another one in here. Let's see. Our tacos are made in 2006 still edible. This is a Mexican girl that's on here and being said about this. And there's another one with mirror pics. Another one that says, I want to go shopping, but I'm so broke right now. Another one. Please don't decline my face card today. And it's like, okay, these things are constantly up here of everything. And it's like all I get are thirst traps after thirst traps. Just like average everyday girls that want to be looked at. And I don't know how many of them are just, they're here, like if it's bots or what. And another girl, okay, sweet Ruby Parker. I feel ugly because I don't get any likes from older men. This is all thirst trap shit. Born in 2006. How about you? Right? Life is too short. Date me. Highly Rico staycation units. And this is a girl from Philippines trying to go ahead and get people to come over there. Come on. Come on. This is wild. But these are the kind of things we get out here. And I'm like, okay. And it is what it is, man. It's like, these stupid things that are out here that are like constantly just being put out, like just some ideas. And, enough of this. Enough. Women, please stop listening to these people from here that we need to hear all this stuff. Okay, Logan Mahan in Inside Hook. This is another story I initially was going to go to first. They tell a story from Ticket from a Woman. We want rat faces and dad bods. Welcome to Hot Rodent Summer. They try to explain that the explanation of the trend is that the men are less like literal rodents and more akin to the animated anthropomorphic rats like the ones in Ratatouille. Rodent men may be sinewy, with almost concord-pointed noses and tight jaws, but they also possess a Disney softness, a mischievous and enchanted charm. Some even have big, playful ears. Oh my goodness, man. This is enough. This is enough. They also go in to talk about, in this story here from Inside Hook, in a separate echo of the chamber of the internet, 12-year-old boys are coveting facial fitness gum to obtain sharper jawlines, a product of looks maxing, a movement derived from incel internet forums, encouraging people to change or enhance their appearance to fit in with traditional beauty standards. For boys and men, this would mean emulating a Chad, someone who embodies a hypermasculine beauty standard. Chiseled jawline, over 6 feet tall, massive arms and pecs, the type of guy men insist all women want. And then they talk about a tweet or a TikTok clip of some red-pilled podcast bro lamenting that women solely desire male partners who make six figures, have the body type of a Grecian god, and a jawline that could cut glass. And she says I can laugh every time she hears that. And then she says that there seems to be a disconnect between what women actually find attractive and what men think women want. Case in point, Hot Rodent Summer. Okay. This is something that is a fad that comes and goes away. And more importantly, when you start hearing this kind of thing right here, you need to understand that eventually you're going to get to the point where you're going to believe that this is something that you're supposed to do. Guys, are any of you guys really doing something where you're chewing gum or doing something to try to help to sharpen your jawline? You want to be a rodent boyfriend? This trend comes and goes. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. And for women, this is completely depraved and debaucherous.